Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chats. I got my coffee. It's a vert kind of day. This is the first time I've worn this shirt in chat. Swedish Chef has always been one of my favorite Muppets of all time. I am a Muppet stan. I love the Muppets so much. Grew up on Muppet Babies and just love all of that. But the Swedish Chef is amazing. What's up? I did not do slow chat. Okay, I gotta do something real quick. Hang tight, because I gotta take care of my moderators. I forgot to do it. Hold on. It'll just take me just a second. I'm gonna try to talk and do this at the same time. So today we're gonna be talking about something that is just kind of it focuses on Samantha Ravndahl, but it's kind of a global topic, even though, it's Samantha that's kind of brought this to the forefront. So wait, hold on. Can I do this and talk at the same time? I'm almost there. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, hold on. It's loading. Hold, please. I wish I could multitask. I'm trying really hard, but it's not working. Okay, hold on. Oh, live control room. That's why I was in the wrong place. Okay, that is on. Where is the slow chat? Save that. No, it is not made for kids. Thank you very much. Okay, edit. Where is it? No, live chat. Okay, I got it now. Here we go. Save. I have to take care of my moderators because my moderators take care of me. All right, we're good now. So basically what happened was, let me bring in the photos. Samantha Ravndahl, who, if you are not familiar, Samantha's been on the platform forever. She's an extremely honest makeup reviewer. She's been reviewing makeup for a long time. She's also a makeup artist, very knowledgeable, very large following for good reason. And she recently released a makeup brand called Cosmetics and Cosmetics. And I did do a full review on my channel, but she released Cosmetics. And I feel like this is something we're going to talk about, is that once you release a brand, what does that mean as far as your career as a makeup reviewer? Well, it is a career. Your career as a makeup reviewer, what does that mean? So it looks like she got the Jaclyn Hill pairings of the blush and the bronzer. And this is what she put up on the Twitters. I got sent some blush bronzer duo palettes from a brand, and these are the swatches from 4 different palettes. Confusion is the main feeling. I think the shades are pretty, but these will really end up looking so similar on the face, especially over top foundation. So when I see this, I think this is not an attacking kind of tone for me. I'm a very literal person, but I do not see this as attacking. I see this as providing information. I don't know why. I guess she didn't put Jaclyn Cosmetics in there because of the backlash that she may get. But it's at the same time, it's like if people are going to put 2 and 2 together, so you might as well just say Jaclyn Cosmetics if you're going to do it. And it's more just seems informational to me rather than like a throwing shade. So here's the photo of the shades, for me, they look very similar. I don't know. People were saying they don't necessarily. I think they look similar. These are the blushes. So that would be the top 4. I wish I could put them side by side, but I can't. Now, one of the criticisms that Samantha received was that she didn't show these other 2, the deeper 2. But that wasn't the point of the post, in my opinion. The point of the post was to show the top ones and how they were similar. There. So it's the first 4, I guess, is what she's showing. Now, if you look over on where people were making the connection, because Samantha did not say which brand they were from, where she was making a connection, was here's the Trend Mood swatches. And you can see there are some slight differences. And who knows what they're going to look like on the face? Who knows? We don't know. In the distraction, I forgot to say hello to the collective brain of makeup awesomeness. So hang tight real quick, because I should have said hello when we first came in, and I've lost the first people that were here. I'm so sorry. I was off because of having to do the thing. So I apologize. Millennia, thank you for joining the Collective Brand Elite. We will get more focused in just a second. Cynthia, good morning to you. Good morning, Jennifer and Adriana and Stephanie and Glam Life Guru. Nah, this name is a joke. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay, Holly, Felicia, Flory, good morning. Thank you for being here. Millennia and Kim and Carolyn and hi there. And classically Diana and Sandy and Christine, Monica, Tiffany, Mary, and Jackie. And if I do not say good morning to you, good morning to you. Okay, let's go back and focus. So we end up where we are now. Okay, so let's look and see what the reaction was. And honestly, I only saw under Samantha's post like 4 people upset. It really wasn't a huge group of people unless a lot of people deleted their posts, which it looked like a few people deleted their posts. So this person says, I'm confused. Aren't pro MUAs always telling us swatches don't do justice in how things apply? Love you, girl, but this feels petty, just to be petty. Okay. Samantha never says specifically in this post that they are Jaclyn's, but 2 and 2 together, they most likely are. Samantha says, swatches can be misleading in certain ways, but they do provide information in other ways. For instance, an eyeshadow may look really sheer when swatched, but looks normally pigmented on the eyes during application. In this instance, I feel swatches are valuable as they demonstrate the lack of variety in depth of the shades and how close many of the undertones are. So as a pro MUA, I can discern that if they look this similar side by side when swatched, they will also end up looking quite, if not more similar when applied to the face over top of foundation, especially. If you don't find that information valuable, that's perfectly fine. You're welcome to express yourself differently from how I do if you find my approach petty. And I honestly, I agree with Samantha. This is going to be very much in agreement with Samantha on this. When you're a makeup reviewer, your job is to provide information to the customer so that they don't buy crap. You want people to know, I feel like my lip gloss is caking up. You want people to know what they're buying before they buy it. If I purchased 2 of these, I would be very disappointed. I think they were $34 a pair. I mean, the packaging is gorgeous, but I don't need 2 of those. So this is valuable information to me as a customer. It's not bad, but do I need all 4? No, I would just want 1. And I think that's important information to know. I think that part of the reason why people are so sensitive over this is because Jaclyn has just been picked apart to death, sometimes for good reasons, sometimes for petty reasons. And I think people saw this, and especially if they love Jaclyn, they're tired of seeing Jaclyn getting picked on, quote unquote, picked on, they're going to be defensive. I want to see what you all have to say because this is a conversation and I want to see what the community thinks. And it's totally okay if you disagree with me. It's totally okay. Okay, let's see. Maggie says, absolutely agree. I think she was just wanting to start a conversation, not be shady in any way. And I think the more you know about Samantha, at least what I feel like I know from watching her content for years, I don't think it was meant to be petty. I think that it was just meant to be informative. Okay. Sarah says Sam's response is very classy and informative. Let me see if there's anybody that disagrees. Yeah, I'm trying to find somebody that disagrees. Okay, here we go. Here's something that's a little different. But to be fair, no one wears makeup this way. We all know swatches are not really telling of the performance, the color build, etc. I do have a full video on why swatches are important and what you can learn from swatches. There's definitely things that you can't learn from swatches. You can't learn about lasting power. And especially with eyeshadow, a lot of times they will apply differently on the eyes. That's why the lovely Shay from That Girl Shay XO started doing eye swatches. I started doing some eye swatches because I do feel like it can be more valuable to see it on the eye, the way that it builds. I think that the point of the post, first of all, let me see. Isa is the way I'm going to say your name. Hopefully I said it correctly. I think that you are absolutely right that no one does wear makeup this way. Absolutely, 100%. Performance-wise, color build, I'm not sure if that's what Samantha was trying to show. I do think you can get color build from a swatch, but I don't think you can tell performance. I agree with you on that. And I don't think this was meant to be a full like review. It was just like a, hey, don't these shades look the same? But I definitely appreciate that alternate point of view because maybe some people may agree with you, Isa. I'm looking for other people that disagree because I want to hear other, here we go. Here's another one. D, swatching blush is not a good way to test how the blush looks and will work. The undertones are warmer and cooler in each color and will appear different on various skin tones. And that may be right, D. That may be right. And I think, you know, this may just be part of the story. Maybe it'll look differently on the cheeks. In my experience, just swatching, I feel like I can see the difference a lot of times. If there's going to be a difference on the cheeks, there's going to be a difference in the swatches, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. I totally could be wrong there. Totally could be wrong. But I don't think the intent, see, this is where we get sticky on the internet. This is the internet. This is where we get sticky is what was the intention? Because I personally feel like intention a lot of times does matter as far as when you're interpreting a post. I think intention does matter. I mean, yeah, someone can mess up and say something and, you know, be hurtful or whatever, not or whatever, but, and be hurtful. But I don't think, I think how hard we go on somebody, I think intention does matter, and what someone meant to do. And I personally don't think that the intention was to be a slam. Yeah, this is interesting. Emily says, my question is if people who disagree will change their opinion when reviews come out. And I'm curious to see that too, if this matches up with reviews in the future. That's a really good point, Emily. Yeah, Kimberly says Sam's always been super honest, which is great for consumers. Yes, totally. Yeah, I think it's just a piece of the story, Jackie. I find swatches, Jackie finds swatches extremely helpful. She says they at least give me some sort of idea of what the product will look like or perform like, even while I do, I make up a swatch to help decide what I use. And if you look at the trend mood swatches, they are built up to death. That is as built up as they can be. I mean, you can see a lot of swatching went into this to really build up these shades, which is not a bad thing because I think that in trend mood swatches, you can really see the subtle differences between them, where Samantha swatches, she did not build them. So in a way, I think the two of these photos together really tell a story, and will help inform the consumer. And I think that's really important as far as deciding for purchasing. All right, I want to show you a couple other criticisms that I saw under the post. This one, well, if you don't see the difference, the problem is you. And yes, the difference is there. And the finger swatch is definitely not supposed to be a grade for a product. Okay, so I think that's a little, the problem is in you. It makes me kind of go a little bit. But this person happens to see a difference in there. I don't see a difference, really. I mean, maybe a little bit in, just a little bit, but not much. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with this one. I'm not sure, but I do agree a finger swatch is definitely not supposed to be a grade for a product. And I don't think that was what Samantha was trying to say. All right, here's another one. Love you, Sam, but I feel like it's worse when you don't say who the brand is. It just looks shady or pettier. So that was another thing that people criticize. And this person says, exactly. If you watch Jaclyn's videos, you'd understand she didn't make them to change your face. She made them to blend seamlessly. Her shade range is way better than most big company shade ranges on the first launch too. I would say having this many shades is a nice amount. I wouldn't say that's better than most. You know, I wouldn't say that's better than most. I would say that's pretty on par. What do you think as far as the number of blush bronzer duos that a mainstream brand would come out with? I think 7's pretty typical. I don't know if I've seen too many bigger brands come out with less shades, but she is an indie brand. I mean, I think this is very respectable number, 7 as a number of to come out. But the I don't know. And this is the thing is Jaclyn she has been doing makeup for a long time. She's been reviewing makeup for a long time. I would imagine she swatched them next to each other. Like, I don't know how that happened. And is it the worst thing in the world? No, this is not lipstick gate. This is just an observation, and information for the customer. It's not, you know. Okay. So let me show you this one. Okay, so this is where people were seeing confusion. There was some confusion there. So they are all the same, no shades for darker skin tones. So I think this was another criticism, is that Samantha did not swatch the other two, the deeper ones. So people got confused a little bit, thinking that this was the entire range. And then Ken says, not defending any brand or person of this, but wait, not defending any brand or person, but of this is from if this is from Jaclyn Cosmetics, then there are darker shades. I think she posted this just to show the lighter shades are looking the same. And I agree with Ken's there, absolutely. But it did cause some confusion in some people. This is the thing with Twitter, is that Twitter is a very limited platform. There's only so much you can do. In a photo, she could have showed the deeper swatches, but it would have been against the point of the post. The point of the post was to show that 4 of them looked similar. It wasn't to show the entire shade range. It was phrased as that it was just showing. It says these are swatches from 4 different palettes. It doesn't say this is the whole range. It doesn't talk about that the shade range is bad. So this is just making connections that I don't think were meant to be made, but that's just what people do, I think. They just make connections sometimes. And I think if they look a little, I guess, see, it's hard on Twitter. This is why Twitter can be such a bad platform, because so much can get lost. And we have to understand when we're on Twitter that it's just a snapshot. It's just a little piece of the picture. It's very hard to convey an entire thing with all of the things on Twitter, is what I'm trying to say. All right. I want to see more of what you all are saying. Let's see. Trying to find one. Okay, Adriana, I agree with Ken's. I can't stand Twitter. Always negative news aiming from there. Yeah, it can happen. I mean, I personally really like Twitter as a platform, but there's definitely big faults in the way people communicate on there. Do we know if she got them all? I think that she probably did. Then again, we don't even know for 100% that these are Jaclyn's, because Samantha never said it. We're just kind of making that connection. She did say that they were sent to her from the brand, and I do believe everybody sent from the brand did get the whole collection. But I mean, we're just speculating at this point. Let me scroll down. LaShawn, people are so critical these days and scrutinize everything. It's not healthy to always be in judgment mode. Definitely. Definitely. A teacup. If this is hard to convey on Twitter, then this does seem petty. Why be so vague? I think it was the fear of that criticism, the fear of, here comes an influencer coming after Jaclyn, I think that there was a fear there. That's my opinion. I think there might have been a fear to specifically say these are the Jaclyn Cosmetics, a hesitation, because it's a tricky thing. But honestly, I don't know, in hindsight, from the outside, maybe, but see, my brain is going back and forth, because I'm thinking, maybe not post it at all. If you're not comfortable saying which brand it is, maybe don't post it. But at the same time, if you're trying to help consumers, then it's important to post it. It's so I see both sides of it. I do. Okay. Scrolling down. Linda says, we need more mature people in the makeup world. We mature ladies like makeup too. Totally agree. Totally agree. Here we go. Ellen, professional makeup artists may be able to see a difference, but YouTube reviews are for the home makeup lover. And as one, I see no real difference. I wouldn't waste money no matter who the brand is. And I'm with Ellen on this. I agree. I think that, if you're doing photography and you're going for a specific color, or if you're doing a runway fashion or something like that, doing wedding makeup, that little tint, that little bit of undertone may make a really big difference. But for the average casual person, is anybody really going to notice the difference between them? Yeah. Fatina's making a joke from What's Up in Makeup today about milking the vegans. You just have to watch What's Up in Makeup today. Sometimes you got to laugh at your own jokes. Okay. It was a stupid joke. It really was. Okay. This is a good point. Stacy says, I think it's all on how you apply it also. Totally. And I think we really see that, the difference between Samantha swatches and Trend Mood swatches. I think we definitely see that. I have one other thing I wanted to show you as far as comments go. Let me click that one off. And I have one more thing that I want to talk about because I think this is important. Dolly Boo says, coming as you as a brand owner, this is low, real low. I wanted to talk about that for a minute and how the role of an influencer changes when they come out with their own brand. And my lovely husband reminded me of this morning, and I had forgotten about it completely. We had gone down, it gets to the topic, trust me. So we had gone down to Cosmoprof in Las Vegas, my husband and I. We were looking to possibly start a skincare line. So we were looking at packaging. How much does that cost? How much does it cost to work with labs? What kind of products? What's the experience of other brands doing, small indie brands doing this? And we learned so much when we were down there, so much that we decided not to do it. But while we were down there is a makeup artist named Kevin James Bennett, who I had talked to previously. He is very, very vocal about many different topics. And he had called in, I'm not sure if it was before or after, with the Jaclyn, something having to do with Jaclyn Cosmetics first launch of the lipsticks. He called in to chat and we talked and we had just kind of been in contact before. And I think I had met him Yes, I had met him at another event before that. Anyway, point is, we met up with him down at Cosmoprof and we talked for 6 hours, something like that. I mean, it was a really long time. We sat in the casino and we just sat and had drinks. We had drank multiple bottles of wine between the three of us and for hours and hours. And one of the things he mentioned really resonated with John. And he said, Jen, if you want to start a makeup brand, your career as a makeup reviewer is pretty much over. And at the time, I strongly disagreed with him. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what I've built my whole brand on, is reviewing makeup and reviewing makeup honestly. He's like, no. It's like, people are going to look at it differently. When you are a brand owner and you criticize another brand, it feels different. It comes off differently. Just like Dolly is saying here. I'm not sure what their real name is, but just like this person is saying, as a brand owner, it hits different. And when John said that to me this morning, it really flipped my brain a little bit. And I was like, I guess that is real. What do you think, though? I want to know what the community thinks. And if you're watching this on the replay, I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Randy says, I'm late, but why is it always Jaclyn? I'm so sick of the drama that surrounds her. But this is what I want to make sure I stress is this isn't drama. This isn't really drama related. It's just a topic. Nothing seems to be wrong with the products. It's just that they're all similar. So it's something to know, something to note before purchasing. To me, that's all it is. It's not like anything, crazy. So I'm looking for about what I was just talking about. Oh, thank you, Carissa. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, Emily. I don't think it should come off differently as long as she doesn't pull out her own products and compare it to everything like Patrick started. Yeah, that was really weird. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was very an odd choice. What was he reviewing? I can't remember, but he pulled out his own products and compared this one from one size, and it was Rare Beauty, I think, was what he was reviewing. Yes, Manny does still review. You're absolutely right, Darky Doom Makeup and Science. Manny does review, and I feel like he's done a really good job with that. I don't know. That's a really good point. And NK Burlington says she still has a right to her opinion. This is true. Erin says Sam isn't perfect either. She has made her share of mistakes, including the blackface post. Yes, which she is. I just want to make clear she has apologized for that, and to the nth degree, she's apologized for that. But yes, she did make that mistake. That was a big mistake. Everybody makes mistakes, but I don't think you can really compare. Like, this is so much lighter of a thing. The shades all being similar. I don't think that the two situations compare, in my opinion. I think that blackface is, a whole nother level of awful and ignorant and rude and disgusting and all of that. This is a different thing. Yeah, here we go. Rose says makeup is supposed to be buildable and blendable, not being criticized by a single swatch. And I agree with you, Rose. I think not being criticized by a single swatch. I'm not sure if it was, well, I guess it was meant to be a criticism. But if you diffuse the blush out, if that's what you're doing with it, then they would kind of all look similar to the single swatch. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, here we go. I keep clicking on Emily's post. I just keep reading them. I don't know why. Jeffree Star built his brand off of reviewing after coming out with his brand. Jeffree Star proved that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, Diana says, I can see why people would be upset if they were all in the same palette, but they're in different palettes. I'm more concerned with the shade range not going deep enough. Did the shade range not go deep enough, though? I'd be curious to know, people that, have deeper skin, do you feel it went deep enough? That's what I would wonder on that. It doesn't seem to be a range, though. It seems like they've got, Jaclyn Cosmetics has the two that, are more punchy. Let's go back to that post, the trend mood one specifically. They've got these two over here on the left, but the rest seem to be more for light to medium, not even, well, I don't know. I guess if you put on the deeper ones a little bit lighter, then you could use them on medium skin. I don't know. I can only speak to my skin tone, and I feel like all of these would all look relatively similar, diffused out. That's just my opinion, though. This is an interesting point. Lindsay says, is it different because Sam is female? Do we expect her to only ever be nice toward other female business owners? Would we be acting this way if Mandy posted the same thing? It's an interesting thought. It's interesting. I would love to know what other people think about that. If Mandy posted the same thing, would people be that critical? I think that in this case, I think people would be that critical. I do. I do think people in this particular case. But I think if he put it in a YouTube video, I think that's the way that Manny would choose to do it, is he would put it in a YouTube video and he would also mention positives in order to balance it out. But because this is just one Twitter post, I think that that's why it comes off as being a little more quote unquote petty. But I think Manny putting it in a review would come off differently. Yeah. Jody says, why is everyone hung up on the fact that it's a swatch? The reality is the undertones are the same and the shades are very similar. No matter who swatches reviews you watch, they're all very similar. And I think that's the most important thing that I got out of this is if I were to purchase them, which I chose not to, and I just don't plan on getting them. But if I was going to, I would now know to only purchase one of them. And I think that's helpful information. All right, Jamie says, can we also note that people with deeper skin don't want to put on layers and layers of product? I don't want to look cakey at the end. Excellent point, Jamie. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, Swarupa says, from those swatches, I could only use the last two. Yeah, and the way that they build, I mean, and let's go back. I mean, the trend mood swatches really do say a lot. In my, only having my complexion opinion, they don't, even if you build them up, they're not going to build to the point where someone with a deeper skin tone, I don't think, could use for the majority of them. All right, back to the comments. Okay, and then we're going to take a break in just a second, and then we can keep talking about this, or we can talk about something else if y'all want. All right. Dania, I don't think it went deep enough for range. There's most for light tones, then drop two darker ones. Do you feel, okay, so Dania, do you feel like it was like maybe the deeper skin tones was an afterthought kind of situation? It's like, oh, I've got all of these that I really like on me, but let's make sure we put in some for people with deeper skin tones. Let's make sure we put, 2 in. I don't know. I mean, again, we're judging intention, and you can't really judge what's going on in someone's brain. It's not really possible. I mean, you can think that you may know, but you never really know what's going on in someone's head. Hi there says, I'm fair as fair can be, yet those lightest two won't look like blush on me. They'll look like a gray cast. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Ava says, similar or not, that is a trash color range and there's no colors for deep, dark skin tones. And that's something everyone's overlooking. Okay, thank you for sharing that, because to me, it looks like some of the deeper ones would work for deep, dark skin tones, but I don't know because I don't have that skin tone, so I don't know. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, here we go. This is an interesting point from Melly. I bet most people complaining already have 5 blushes in their collection that look very similar. That's a good point. Like if I go in, I know which colors I like. Like I don't know if this is the way you are, but I know kind of which tones that I like. So I do have multiples that probably look the same. It's a really good point. Like, why do I need them? It's a good point. Amanda says, please support Black, POC, and indie minority makeup brands. They're launching amazing products. Sam nor Jaclyn are deserving of your money. I think that's subjective. I think that we should definitely be supporting Black and POC, indie minority makeup brands 100%. But I don't think that saying that just because they are not Black, they don't deserve people's money. I don't know if that's a fair thing to say. I think people have a right to choose to use their money. However, I do definitely agree that people should support Black, POC, and indie minority makeup brands, though. But for you, Amanda, if you don't want to spend your money on Sam or Jaclyn, then that is definitely your choice. But I think it's up to the individual person how they want to spend their money. This is interesting. Joey says, do you think she only has 2 deeper shades because her demographic doesn't have as many POC? I'm not sure if this could be true. Any thoughts? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. But I don't know. I personally really like to see I like to see that gradient. You know what I mean? Like when I see, and I always see people that have deeper skin tones, Black women, Black men saying, you know, that they appreciate the gradient. So when you go from just very light and jump straight to deeper, it's just kind of like, what happened? What happened in the middle? What happened in the middle? All right. Jury says, I think it only came across as petty because of the intention was to inform. Because if the intention was to inform, she would have stated the brand. I agree with her point, just not how it was delivered. Interesting. That's a really good point. Because if you're really trying to inform customers about things being similar, why didn't you mention the brand? That's a really good point. Because I'm always thinking from my own perspective, as far as being somebody that posts on YouTube and has a social presence. Like I would imagine she was afraid of, you know, people saying that she was just trashing Jaclyn. But you're right. If you really come across with a pure intention just to inform, she should have said the brand. That's a really good point. I have no argument against that. Thank you for helping me think in a different direction. I appreciate you. All right, let's take a little bit of a break and talk about what's on my face today. Let me make sure I got through all of the photos real quick that I want to show. Yes, that was all the photos I want to show. So let me show you, talk about what's on my face today. And then after that, we can pop topics and talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Well, not whatever, but for the most part. So let's talk about what's on my face today. On my eyes today, I played with this. I purchased this during the holiday season. This is the pie palette from Jaclyn Cosmetics. It came in a little pie box. It's very cute. And I want to do something super simple today. I'm not wearing any foundation. I have a little bit of color corrector on my eyes, but that's it. I used on my eyes the shade Peach, which is my favorite in the palette. Excuse me, and a little bit of Nutty Pecan in the outer corner, and that's it. And then my blush today is the Cherry Pie blush that's in the middle. Isn't this so cute? Glamlight stuff is just really fun. Their packaging is so fun and just very cute, and it's squishy. You see that? It's squishy. That's a little pie. Here's the pie box. So here's the box. It comes in this little box, and you put it in here like this. I don't know if this is still available. I think that it is. I think they sell it separately, but I got like a whole like Christmas set that came with this, but oh my gosh, it's so stinking cute. All right, also on my eyes today, I used the Maven Beauty waterproof liquid eyeliner. So that was purchased. This was PR. These things are not great, but I really wanted to use a brown eyeliner today, so I broke down and used it. It's got a click up thing. Like the point on it is wonderful, but it's got like click up where you roll the product up, so it can be really difficult to use. And today, it's finding that balance between not enough product and too much product, and it's difficult. I wish that they would just change this to a traditional way of dispensing the product, because that would be so much better, because the tip is great. It's just, and the formula is good. It's just the delivery system is pretty awful, but it worked for me today. It just took a little bit of layering because I was scared to crank it too much. And then my mascara today, this is also PR. This is the new Makeup Geek rich black shade of their new mascara that where to say on, oh, Extension Effect mascara is what it's called. Lots of length, not a lot of volume, but definitely lots of length. On my lips today, I have also PR. This is the lip gloss in Bare by Ofra Cosmetics. It is a heavier gloss. You can feel it on the lips when you first put it on. Now I can't feel it, but when I first put it on, it is a very thick, heavy gloss. And then on my cheeks, this is Purchase. This is the About Face Beauty stick highlighter that I absolutely love. This is in the shade Please Indulge Me. And I do have a full review of this whole line on my YouTube channel. So that is what's on my face today. Yeah. So Robin says, well, she ever spoke about what really happened with her lipsticks, maybe people would have more respect for Jaclyn, just saying. And I think that's something that's going to follow her. I know people say, we should stop talking about it. It happened a long time ago. It was a mistake. She apologized for it. She gave everybody refunds. I mean, she did take a lot of steps to try to, fix the situation, but I don't think we'll ever know exactly what happened or how it happened. And maybe Jaclyn doesn't even know exactly what happened or how it happened. I mean, she's not in the lab every single day watching things go down. Maybe her lab didn't give her a good reason, so she just had to make one up. Who knows? We don't know. We'll never know, I don't think, what happened with that. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is interesting. People can agree that Sam and Jaclyn Hill don't need your money, but does Maybelline need your money? Does do any of these brands need your money? The only brands that I would say need your money are indie brands that are struggling. I think that the whole need your money thing, I don't know if I think that's even a thing. Unless it's an indie brand that's struggling. A lot of indie brands are not struggling and are doing very, very well. They don't need our money either. I think it should really all be about, what brands you want to support, because you like the people behind it. You like what the brand stands for. You like the packaging. You like the colors. You like, you feel like it'll fit into your life. And I think that's an individual choice. But as far as needing your money, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's really necessarily, at least for me. I mean, it's obviously about it for you, which is fine. And I'm sure there are so many people that feel the exact same way. But I don't think big brands need our money either. It's an interesting concept. Yeah. Telestra says preference and lacking in problematic situations. Yeah, because there's so many brands out there to choose from. It's like, why buy from a brand that you don't agree with when there's so many other choices out there? There's so many choices. Yeah, Josephine says, if I want a product, I'll give them my money. Oh, I saw one that was interesting that I just lost. If she didn't say anything, couldn't click on it because I don't know where it went. But if she didn't say anything, people would say she wasn't being honest. I think that's another good point too. People are bringing up James Charles. I don't want to go into the James Charles stuff too much because it is a very serious thing. If you want to know more about what's happening with him, there are drama videos on it. You can search for it. But it's very serious when you're talking about an adult and a child. And, I don't want to get into that too much, but I don't think that this is purposeful because he's coming out with his own brand. I don't think so. I think this is way too serious. This isn't just some influencer tiff. This is, a whole nother level. So I don't really want to talk about it too much because it just, as a mom, but no, I don't think that it's just because he's coming out with his own brand. That's my opinion. Here we go. Dejana says all brands need our money because if we all stop buying, then they'll have financial problems. Well, yeah, sure. But it's like to use that as the excuse to not buy from indie brands, to not buy from a creator because maybe they live in a pretty house. I think that was kind of, thank you for bringing it up because that's good for me to clarify. You know, when you see somebody like Jaclyn who lives in this beautiful house and you know that she has a good bit of money, it's like she doesn't need our money. I think that was kind of where I was going from. But you're right. Brands need our money because if we all stop buying, they will have financial problems, of course. But like to punish somebody because they live in a big house and say, I'm not going to buy from them because they don't need it. I don't know. That's just not where I think, but I can see why other people would think that way. Mon says KVD Vegan Beauty or whatever needs money. they may, especially they're hiring on all these new people now too. Excuse me. KVD rebranding again. I think it's smart. What I think about that, Josephine, I think that it's smart for Kat Von D, see, I'm doing it. KVD Beauty to rebrand again. I think that their last rebrand did not go well. I think it's difficult to find words that make sense that go with the KVD. I think it would have been smarter, like Kat had said, to just change the name completely. Like, make it tattoo themed, call it something cool, you know, tattoo themed. I'm married to a tattoo artist. Like, there's so many cool things in the tattoo industry, you know, make it tattoo themed and just totally rebrand it as something else. I think that would have been smart. Because I think if you are a diehard when it comes to the KVD brand and you really like products from them, I think people will follow it. I think people would follow it if they took the KVD off. I think that acronym is just really hard to find things that match it. And I think the new Latin names it's not something that would be, I don't know. It just seems a little weird, but I appreciate that more than Kat Von D, vegan, doing good. You know, I don't know what it was. So yeah. Scrolling down again. Here we go. Cosmic Slice. I just wish more brands would make their products available outside of the US. Most charge a fortune to buy. Tati and over a few where charges are reasonable. And I think that a lot of that comes down to the way that the things that you need to do for your brand in order to make them available outside of the US. If you want to have a primarily US customer base, the things you need to do as far as, you know, the labeling and the ingredients that you choose and the things you need to do, like remember there was a big thing with Jaclyn Cosmetics, how there was an address and people were like picking apart this address, like, what is this address? And I think I forget where it was. I haven't thought about it in a long time, but it was a distributor address. It was an address that you have to have in order to sell in that country. You have to have an international address in that country. I don't want to misspeak and say the wrong details, so I know I'm being kind of vague, but it's a lot to distribute outside of the US and to meet all the regulations and everything. And then plus you're dealing with, you know, custom charges, international shipping, which is really expensive. So all that has to be built into the cost of the product. With Ofra, they have their own lab, which I think makes a huge difference as far as their overhead cost. Of course, there's plenty of, you know, cost going into it. But I think that helps them. It's kind of like how ColourPop is able to produce, you know, so many things so quickly. It's because they have their own lab. And then Tati with Seed Beauty, it's the same thing it's the same, from what I understand, I could be wrong here, but it's the same lab as that makes the ColourPop stuff. It doesn't mean it's the same formula, but it's the same parent company. So I would imagine it's the same lab. And that's probably why they can do things for a less expensive cost. In my opinion, this is from somebody that does not know the inner workings of any of that, but just based on my background knowledge, it's what I'm thinking. Scrolling down again. Yes, here we go. Angeline, the U.S. standards and ingredients and things are banned in most countries. That's why some brands can't ship out of the U.S. Plus, shipping is so expensive. Yeah, there are a lot of ingredients, especially when you're talking about skincare. There are ingredients that are banned in the U.K. specifically that are not banned in the U.S. But then there's also the labeling thing with pigments, with how we call it a pressed pigment in the U.S. In the EU regulations for cosmetics, the certain pigments are deemed safe for eye use, but in the US, they're not. So if they're made outside of the US and they use those pigments and they want to sell them in the US, they can't call it an eyeshadow. They have to call it a pressed pigment, or they call it a shadow palette or a color palette. So that's a thing coming into the US too. But you're right there. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Yasu Cherry says, true. As a European, buying from U.S. brands is not always easy. Shipping is often pricey, which is understandable, but then there are customs fees that are sometimes very high. Yes, I remember when we visited Iceland a few summers ago, we were talking to a woman that worked in one of the museums that we went in. It wasn't really a museum. It was a gift shop with some, I don't know. It wasn't really a museum. But anyway, point is, the woman that worked there, we were talking about makeup and stuff. And she was saying, she was an American, and she was saying how hard it was to get American makeup in Iceland. That a lot of things just aren't sold there. You just can't get them. You can't get anything shipped there. And it's crazy. Sure. Sarah says, can we talk about medical grade skincare versus clean beauty? They are both unregulated terms. You can, from my understanding, medical grade is not a regulated term, and neither is clean beauty. You can slap it on anything. The only thing where I would say medical grade is real is if you are getting it as a prescription from a doctor. Then it would be medical grade. I'm thinking retinols off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's other things that I'm not aware of. Clean beauty is a whole nother mess. Clean beauty is whatever people decide it is. So when you go to Sephora and you have clean at Sephora or clean at Ulta or whatever, they decide what that means, and it's all BS. It's all BS. Just because something is labeled clean beauty does not mean the ingredients are better, that they work better, that they are safer for you. A lot of times, clean things that are labeled as clean, they may have preservatives that go bad faster, which would be more harmful to the consumer in the long run. When we talked about beauty fridges, a lot of people were saying that they put their clean beauty in their refrigerator because it goes bad faster. It's like, who wants that? Like, why do I want that? Give me the preservatives. Give me things that will keep my cosmetics safe for longer. So clean beauty, please don't ever fall for clean beauty. It's not a thing. The only reason why in my opinion, you should be avoiding certain ingredients is if your doctors told you to avoid them, you have an allergy, you have, done research and one ingredient just freaks you out. If you're a vegan, if you're, cruelty-free doesn't matter this because that's having to do with animal testing. But if you're a vegan, there are reasons to avoid ingredients, absolutely 100%. But clean beauty it's just a marketing term. It really doesn't mean anything when it comes down to it. And it doesn't mean your products are going to be better. And clean beauty is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and more people are buying into it. And it disappoints me to no end. If you talk to dermatologists, estheticians, cosmetic chemists, they'll all tell you clean beauty is a load of crap. And I have full videos about it too. Yeah. No more greenwashing. It's not cute and it's harmful. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Banshee Muse. I try to buy cruelty-free products, and I added not buying products in countries that do not have strict labor laws. China uses slave labor, so I stopped buying from brands that source or made there. And I think that's really important to decide where you want to buy from. Where is your line? What are the things that you are looking for? And if clean beauty is your thing, it's your face, it's your money. You need to spend it however you want to spend it. It is not my money. I'm just saying, the clean beauty can mean anything. So decide what it means to you before you go and just invest in something because it's clean, because it's labeled as clean beauty, or it's labeled as, dermatologist approved or whatever. All they need to do is just walk into a dermatologist office and be like, hey, dude, do you like this? And they're like, yes, I like it. And they're like, cool, dermatologist approved, What does that even mean? It's not regulated is what it comes down to. It could be more than that, but it's not regulated. A lot of these things aren't regulated. Even the term cruelty-free isn't regulated. So yeah, if you believe in clean beauty, just go get some aloe vera from your road. Aloe vera is a great ingredient. Totally. Preservatives are our friends. Absolutely. Yeah. Here we go. Randy says, I'm a big fan of preservatives at work. Nothing grosser than moldy or rancid products. Do you remember, what was that brand? Can't think of it. I think it started with an H. It was like Herbal or something or another, where a bunch of their products went bad. I had gotten one in a beauty box. I forget which one, whether it was box charm. I don't remember. But I had one of those and it smelled awful. I remember it was when I was going to the gym and I had put it in my gym bag. So I had it in my locker at the gym. And I put it on afterward and it smelled like rotten, dirty feet. It smelled so bad. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is on my face? Is it supposed to smell like this? And then I heard that it was Herbivore. Thank you, Diamond, my Herbivore of Botanicals. Thank you. That's exactly what I was talking about. And oh yeah, a bunch of people were saying Herbivore. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So it smelled so bad. It was a moisturizer and I put it on after I had taken a shower at the gym and I was like, ah. But yeah, you want preservatives that work. When do I think I'll have another guest on the show? I have been talking to Perry Romanowski, who is he does the Beauty Brains podcast. I was thinking about having him on for a live chat. I've been talking with him about that, which I think would be really fun to have him. He's great. If you've never listened to the Beauty Brains podcast, it's incredible. Chemist Corner is his blog and he's incredible. So that's probably my next guest. So we're just kind of working out when that might be, whether we would do it live or whether we would do it pre-recorded, but we're working on doing something together, which I think would be great. Tati. I haven't talked to Tati in over a year. I have no idea what's going on with her. I don't know. So that's going to be a no. If I could get Tati on live chat, I would, but I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. Yeah. Dan June says, with the pandemic, I really barely buy anything anymore. And I think you're with a lot of people who are like that. Absolutely. I mean, it's a tough time for a lot of people. Yeah, Danielle says, it's Sephora. Have you seen the green leaf? That stands for it clean, only means that it has no preservatives and parabens. And when clients ask about it, that's all I say, other than that there's not a difference. I don't know if there's no preservatives though, Danielle. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I would love to know more about that. I know that parabens is one of those things at Clean at Sephora. There's a whole list on Sephora's website, but I don't know if it means I don't think it's that there's no preservatives. It's just not the traditional preservatives, because there are some natural ingredients that can serve as preservatives, but definitely no parabens. But parabens, if you look into it, there's conflicting research back and forth on whether parabens are bad or not. If you watch a lot of like Dr. Dre or a lot of the skincare professionals that are on YouTube, all of them will tell you that parabens are fine. But because of the media coverage of it, a lot of people are scared of parabens. So, and the other thing too about the clean is that they don't use where it says fragrance parfum, but they'll use like oils, like extracts and things that can be just as skin sensitizing as limonene and linalool and some of the things that are named as fragrances. So you're right, that doesn't really mean anything in that context. Oh my gosh, we only have 5 minutes left. I can't believe it. All right. Mons, Coach and Sephora collection. I already purchased it. Should be arriving this week. Okay. So I am not a Coach person. I never could afford a Coach bag. Like never. And then like when I felt like I could afford, I didn't want one. I was like, it's just not my thing. Like expensive bags is just not my thing. Like I get it for other people. It's just not my thing. So if you have not seen these, if I was on my other computer, I'd show you a picture. They're up on Sephora's website now. And they're like these bag charms. They look like they're probably like this. And it's an eyeshadow palette. It's a 6-pan eyeshadow palette. And it looks like a dinosaur. And it hangs on the outside of your bag. I'm worried about it breaking outside the bag. I've heard you can take the palette off and put something else on it. But then what's the point? I don't know. I think it's a cute idea. I think the brush set, like that opens up and almost looks like a bag, that's super cute. But I'd be curious to know the quality of the shadows. I think they're really expensive. They're really expensive. Lucinda seems to be having a really good conversation and I'm missing out on all of it and it's making me sad. I'm going to have to go back and read the chat later. Here we go. Crystal says, I love Coach. I shop at the outlet usually. Yeah, we have a Coach store at our mall and I always look at it and go, oh, those are pretty, but I'm not paying $300 for a bag. It's just not my thing. Like I have a section in my closet where I can put like shoes and bags and stuff. Like I haven't added anything to that shelf since I moved in. Since here for a year, I haven't put anything new there. It's all older stuff just that I grabbed when I moved. Like I'm just not into shoes and bags and stuff. It's just not me. Oh, thank you, Flory. I appreciate you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, that wasn't it. Hold on. Where is it? This one. Kristi's video about her birth story. Oh my gosh. If you have not seen it, I cried 2 times, 3 times while I was watching it. That woman went through a lot for her birth story, but be prepared. You know what I really liked about Kristi's video is the way she introduced it, where she's like, you know what? Everybody has opinions about birthing and all of that. I just don't want opinions on this. Like I'm already sensitive about it. I don't want opinions on it. And I just respected that so much that she just put that straight up front. Like, please don't. And if there's too many opinions on what I did, what I chose to do, my birth story, like my baby, like I'm just going to turn off the comments because I just can't. I can't with this. Because when you share something that personal, like, yes, she has a public platform. Yes, she should be open to criticism, but this is something that was so personal and so traumatic for her. I just appreciated how she came out in the very beginning and was like, no BS, like, please be nice because I'm already going through a lot and I don't need it. I'm sharing this to share my story, not to hear your feedback on my choices. And I thought that was appropriate and wonderful. And I'm glad she protected herself that way by saying that. I haven't looked lately to see if the comments are still on, but it really was, Amira, it really was a beautiful video. And you know, another thing that I loved is if you haven't watched it, in the very beginning, she shows clips of basically the whole story. So you know from the beginning of the video that it's going to turn out okay. You know, that the baby's going to be born and everything's going to be all right and that he's, you know, happy and healthy and all of that. You know all of that going into it. So when things are happening, you don't feel like, oh my gosh, maybe this isn't going to be okay, you know? And I appreciated that. Like, even though I already knew that the baby, you know, I'd seen pictures of him, I appreciated that she put that in the beginning, the little montage. I felt like it set up the video really nicely. It was just besides it being just beside it being, I don't know what I want to say, but basically I feel like she put it together very well. And I appreciated the story because for me, I remember seeing the beginning, the first tweet where she tweeted that she was, that her water broken. So I'm like counting the time. I'm like, when, you know, I want to know what's happened. I want to know if she's okay. So I expected it to be 12, 15 hours, maybe 24 tops. And after 24 hours and we didn't hear anything about her, she didn't tweet, she didn't say anything, I started to get worried. And, you know, 30 hours went by and I'm like, oh my gosh, she still hasn't said anything. I hope everything's okay. So I sent her a DM and I was like, just want to let you know I'm thinking about you. I hope that you're doing okay. Like it was just very fast. Just I'm thinking about you. And then when she finally said that everything was okay, I was like, okay, great. But I still had in the back of my mind, like, what the hell happened? Like, I like, as someone that cares about her, I appreciated hearing that story, you know? So, all right, it is 11 o'clock. If you have not watched Kristi's birth story video and you feel like that's something that you want to watch, I know it might be triggering for some people. So, I definitely, go in with your own mental health in mind. But if you do want to watch it and you feel like it's something for you, I definitely recommend. So, John, thank you so much. Before you go, I think the thumbs up button might be broken. Can you press it to test it for me? Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's topic. Just as a friendly reminder, this whole topic we talked about the swatches. This is not the end all be all destruction of Jaclyn Hill meant to be this huge serious conversation. It is supposed to be just something, just to discuss a topic that's makeup related that I found interesting. And hopefully you found it interesting too. So if you're commenting afterward, please keep it kind in the comments. I would appreciate, if you have something different that you think, oh my gosh, totally. I would love to hear your thoughts. I mean, make me think in a new way, like some of the commenters live did. I would love to read that, but please just be kind. There's just so much meanness going on. There's so much, that's my dog snoring. There's so much meanness going on in our world today. There's so many people being overly critical and picking things apart and putting intention on others that were obviously not meant to be there. Just being conscious to be kind would be great. So I think we could all use a little bit more kindness these days. But anyway, thank you so much for being here, and mad love to you. And I will see you in a video very, very soon. Have a great week. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.